Village of Cambridge Board of Trustees meeting of Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Schultz. Here. Jacobson.
Here.
Hollenbeck.
Here.
Trendle.
Here.
Krecklow.
Here.
Bruning.
Here. All right, if we could stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Lucy, proof of posting.
The agenda was posted in the upper and lower levels of the Amundsen Community Center, the Cambridge Post Office, Badger Bank, and the village website.
All right,
Do you know how
thank you.
to get my screen to look like yours?
Moving on to number 4 as our first round of public comment. If you'd like to make a public comment, raise your hand and come on up. State your name, address, and 3 minutes.
My name is Kenny Johnson, Cambridge, Wisconsin. Last meeting, I was here to ask for the siting of a pickleball court, actually 4 pickleball courts, and LBK Park was requested that we look at that. We've looked at the park, and it's not suited for that type of facility. So we're withdrawing the request for the siting at LBK Park. We haven't found another site. What we were thinking about was 4 courts, and that was to be a revenue source for the village of Cambridge. That we don't see that can happen at the village at this time. So if anything happens in the future, we'd like to maybe get park funds for that, but we have no plans to go further at this time. So, well, thank you for your consideration and withdraw our request.
All right, thank you. All right, any other public comments? If not, we're going to move on to the approval of the consent agenda. In that, we have the village board minutes from 7/22/2025, and Paul had the helm for that one. I appreciate it. I was busy with some folks from out of town, and we have operator licenses. So I will take a motion for.
I'll make a motion to, Trustee Krecklow make a motion to approve the consent agenda, and do you want me to do the operator licenses individually?
It's all part of the
It's all
consent
one.
agenda.
Yep.
All right. All right, can I get a second, please?
I'll second Trustee Trendle.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? Minutes look good. We'll just earmark that meeting as the pickleball meeting. It's quite a bit. I watched the video, and it was, looks like Cambridge could become the pickleball capital of the world here if we play our cards right. So we got no questions, concerns. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Consent agenda is passed. Moving on to reports. Number 6, Fire and EMS Commission report. Now, we got a email from Kristen. She is actually attending a wedding of one of her daughters, so she is not here tonight. I have a list of things that she wanted to pass on for an update. I can read this, or I can have Lucy send it to you, and you can read it on your own, whatever you'd like to do.
Well, are there any highlights that would be pertinent for
Let's see.
the public?
Currently working on Section 2 roles and responsibility of commissioners, Rescue 96 accident update. That's a highlight. It was in an accident. Our newest ambulance was in an accident on July 5th while responding to a call. Estimated damage cost is approximately $23K. Costs will be covered by grant money received from the state of Wisconsin. No estimated cost to the municipalities. So a little good news there. Likely 6 to 8 weeks turnaround. And some other highlights. President Blackwood had 2 potential very qualified candidates reach out for the EMS director position. A already hearing the position is opening. Both are paramedics with leadership experience. Working on job descriptions. Sale of Rescue 92 is still going forward. All proceeds will have to be kept separately due to the ongoing Oakland audit. So, and you know, they're doing yeoman's work, definitely digging in quite a bit, but I'll let you take a look at it. I'll have Lucy send it
I'll
out to
send it
everybody.
out to all of you.
And in there is also the financial report for the EMS Commission, prepared by our Midwest CPAs. So, any questions or concerns about that report? All right, moving on to audit update. Lucy.
Absolutely. So I know it feels like forever, but the audit has been completed as of 3:14 p.m. today. So tomorrow expect on our website, and I will email you all a copy as well. The very final version, only a few changes, and I can, in my email to you guys, make a few notes. So some of the changes were for the Cambridge Foundation. I have those changed into a different account to make sure we didn't use all of the money from 2024, so that would be carried over. There's a few wording things. He did highlight it. I haven't even gotten to look at this one that just came in. So if it's not highlighted on there, I will add the changes since you last saw it. It is very minimal though. So that is complete.
The park impact fees portion is.
That's all
All right.
been completed and updated as well.
All right. Okay, any questions for Lucy on the audit? All right. And I'm sure we'll dig in deeper in a future meeting after we get this email about the audit update. Moving on to 6C, MSA building inspection.
Absolutely. So due to our contract ending with Safe Built, for those that don't know, they had submitted a termination letter to us, oh goodness, I want to say 6 weeks ago. So I began the plan to try to find somebody to fill in. I created an RFP, but in the meantime, as you know, a request for proposals is quite the process. We need somebody right away. Safe Built let us discontinue our current. It was supposed to go through, I want to say September 12th, mid-September. They were fine with us ending as of July 31st. We have MSA Building Inspection Services interim through the end of the year. One of the things I'm working with MSA on, I've been working the last couple of weeks, is getting them everything from Safe Built, them getting me all of their things, and then we'll also be updating our fee schedule. It has not been updated in quite some time, and we need to make sure that it is aligned with what MSA charges, because they will bill us, and we need to be able to have a fee schedule that will cover the costs so that we're not paying for part of the services.
Especially the administrative aspect of it.
The administrative part of it is going to decline immensely for our admin assistant, Judy, that has been doing hours and hours each week, so that's exciting. And Stephanie Potter, who is the head building inspection person, has been in the office last week, and she'll be in this week. We don't have office hours at this time. I don't want to make her come and sit if we don't have appointments, but it's something we can do. And then we'll continue to work on going forward for after the end of the year, what our plan is. I do have that RFP I created, and to be honest, there's not a lot of options. As many of you know, I've made calls to other organizations, and they don't have the capacity to take us on. And so this is not a problem just for Cambridge. Many communities, and there's actually some surrounding communities that may be tying into MSA building inspection as well, because they've heard that we got them on board here. So that is about it. Any questions? regarding all
That
of
new
that.
fee schedule, where's that gonna go to?
That's going to go to Plan
I
Commission.
assumed, I just wanted to make sure it was on the, is it gonna be on the agenda for,
It's my goal. It's a lot of
Okay.
work, so I'm going to try very hard.
okay,
But yes,
okay, sounds
I'm
good.
hoping to have it for the 25th, and then it can come to the board on the 26th.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on our interim building inspectors? If not, we're going to move on to 7, approval of the bills. Discussion and possible action on the bills, Lucy?
Absolutely. So the first run, and I did second run 722. That is my bad on your sheet
I
here.
turn the folder over there to you if you need to see it.
So the first run for $34,048.13. Second run for $53,698.48. And then we have the MSA check from 722, the meeting that we took that one out, and that is for $5,262.50 for a total of $93,009.11.
All right, I'll take a motion to pay the bills.
Trustee Krecklo make a motion to pay the bills in the
What-
amount of $93,091,
$9.
$9.11.
All right, Trustee Brunig seconds. Any questions or concerns about the bills? All right, if not, roll call, please.
All right, Bruning,
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Krecklo,
Yes.
Hollenbeck,
Yes.
Trendle,
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, bills are paid. Moving on to 8, new business, discussion and possible action regarding our utility superintendent and public works position. I saw that the job descriptions are in there. There was a lot of work put into that. They look
That-
very detailed.
I can't take credit for that. That was Cody.
Um,
Is it okay if he comes and sits up here for the discussion?
It's fine.
Okay. So I'm gonna start if that's okay, and then I'll let Cody chime in. So we have a utility superintendent position to fill, and my idea that I think that would be very helpful would be to outsource. And I couldn't tell you if it would be 100% or 50%, but to work with there's many different companies that do this, including MSA. I do think that there is a chance that we could keep some of the job duties in-house, but when it comes to the administrative part of utilities, it's very, very technical to make sure that we're in compliance. And many other municipalities do outsource their utilities. And again, they would work with the village. They would not be a village employee. There's many benefits to it as well, because usually whoever our contact is also has backups and stuff. And so there's usually somebody always available for the most part, but that would have to be an agreement to be worked on. The second part of this is a big ask, but I would like 2 entry-level public works employees in lieu of adding a utility superintendent. We need bodies right now with our opening. Basically, Cody and Jay are each on call for half of the month. That is not sustainable. By adding 2 entry-level public works employees, we get the bodies, we get the help. If they, one of the requirements is a CDL. If they don't have a CDL, I do have a plan where the village can pay for it up front with a contract where they'd have to pay back if they leave before 2 years. Things like that, just to broaden the applicants that we could get. But that is just kind of where I'm going with this. We do have a need. We are in compliance as of right now. Cody's been in touch with the DNR and MSA as well, and then I will let him take it from there.
Thank you very much, Lucy. I would like to stress the point that our current staffing is not sustainable with our on-call rotation. It is very difficult to be on call every other weekend, and I know that right now that is just a temporary pain, so we can shoulder that burden for the moment, but it is not sustainable. I like Lucy's idea of 2 public works employees in lieu of a water superintendent. I am open to either one. I believe the water superintendent is a full-time position, and at the very least, there would need to be the list. You've seen the job description. The list of responsibilities is extensive, and it requires quite a bit of expertise. And on top of that, we would need that person to have a commercial driver's license. What I'm really seeking out of all this, I don't mind which way it shakes out, but what I'm really seeking out of this is I would like 4 full-time employees. And the reason I would like that is for a healthy on-call rotation and for snow and ice removal. We've gotten away pretty lucky and pretty cheap over the last few winters. They were pretty mild, and we relied on some LTEs to help us through that. I believe if we kept staffing, say for example, at 3 full-time employees, the likelihood for burnout is much higher. I know I feel it. When our utility superintendent was here, once every 3 weeks is quite a bit for on-call.
Cody, and just
Yes.
to add to that, it's not just the weekends, it's when you're done for the day, it's overnight too if anything should happen, correct? So it's for the full
Apologies,
week,
yes.
it's for the full week.
Apologies, yes.
Yes.
On-call is from Friday to Friday. We do 1 full week of on-call, and then you also have to come in on the weekends. You are restricted to a 30-minute bubble that you need to stay inside of, so we can have a good response time if anything does happen. And then on top of it, let's say there's a sewer backup, and the person who is on call responds, but in order to run the piece of equipment that cleans the sewer out and fixes the sewer backup, you need an additional person. It's not optional. You cannot run that machine without 2 people. So if one person is on vacation, say they're in California, there's no way they're going to be able to get back. So if there was 3 staff, that second person need to be able to stay within your 30-minute bubble, so they can at least be there to assist with a sewer backup, or a storm comes through, trees fall on the road, that sort of situation. But I'm mostly concerned about on-call and snow removal. There are some 4-man jobs that are required. For example, line painting at 4-way intersections, especially on Main Street, is very difficult with only 3 people. But we are holding it together for now. It's not sustainable, and we very much so need a decision tonight on how we're going to move forward, whether that's public works employees or a public works employee and a utility superintendent. But we need to get a position, 2 positions posted as soon as we can, so we can start the interview process and hiring process. Please ask me too if you have any questions or would like any clarification on anything.
What is your preference?
I would like, depending on the scales of how much that outsourcing would cover, I would be in favor of 2 public works employees on top of the staff we already have now, so a total of 4 public works employees.
What's the budget impact? You
In-
could go with one or the other, or what are we looking at, right? Because
I believe well, I know the utility superintendent position, you would have to pay more. The qualifications are above and beyond what a public works laborer would be. We just,
True, yep.
So
But
you-
what would it, if we're gonna outsource, right, what's the kind of
Well,
decision point?
Just
right?
one thing, the water and superintendent would be paid by the water and sewer board, not by village taxes. And so it's the water and sewer committee that would honestly need to make that decision.
Got it.
That makes sense, okay,
to answer your question though, I don't know what the cost comparison would be.
okay.
And we haven't even had time to go out and get different options for, how much service. One of the things you do have to keep in mind, the utility superintendent, if we hire somebody in-house, which is totally fine, then we have retirement, all the fringe benefits. So I would say for sure with fringes plus the hourly wage plus the on-call rotations and stuff currently, it's well over 100,000 for that one person.
But again, that's water and
Yes,
sewer,
yes.
not taxpayers, so
Yes.
that's,
But the part of the wages though, if I believe there is a chunk, it doesn't go completely how we have it now. It's not 100% to water sewer.
but he just told us it is a 100% full-time job.
Yes, but right now we have it because that position does help with snowplow, that it's in-house and some other things. It is a full-time job, but there are times where they help, where the public works employees help the water department and vice versa. And so for payroll, it is, I believe, 25% goes towards the village and 75 goes towards water sewer storm. And there's a small percentage of Cody and Jay salary and wages and stuff that go to water sewer storm. That's something we can do, like completely separate it, but that's just how it currently is, just to let you know.
Yeah, I would think that contracting it out might be a cleaner situation for water and sewer, because then you don't have that 20% of plowing and whatever the case is. You have either MSA or whoever can do the contracting. But we'll leave that up to water and sewer. But for now, we need to get these job descriptions out so we can get some
I don't see
traction.
how we can make a decision if we don't understand what the cost impact is going to be to our budget,
To water sewer or to the village
to
budget?
the village. If we were to hire 2 full-time public works employees,
Mhm.
what is that going to cost the village? Because we chose not to refill
Mhm.
that 4th position
Mhm.
because we felt we couldn't afford it. And that was one of the ways that we helped to reduce costs for 2025.
And
And I don't know that anything has changed that would now make it okay for us to rehire a 4th position.
to move it from the utility superintendent to completely water sewer and then add to the budget, you're saying. What I can tell you is there's many factors. What kind of impact? What are we going to do for a pay range? And I can get you that. We don't, for salaries and wages for this year, for the budget, I can take a look and see what the difference is. But regardless of the impact, I feel like you cannot expect them to run on, could you imagine 2 weeks out of every month being on call? You can't keep it like that. If we do outsource our utility, can that person be part of the on-call rotation? That is a question I can't answer. And when I had spoken with Cody, that he believes if they have 4 employees, that should not be an issue.
So all of this year, so
Yes.
far, we've had 3 employees. You're asking us to add headcount.
We have not had 3 employees. We have had, for Public Works, we've had 2
I'm counting with Derek.
with Derek.
With the count, So that's
We have
three
had
employees.
3.
Correct.
Yes,
And you are asking us to add a head count.
I am.
Okay. We need to know what the budget implications are. I'm sorry, I don't know that I'm comfortable making a decision.
I don't even, that was where I was going. So if we lost one employee, we're budgeted for a certain amount of employees for public works, right, for the year, right?
Yes.
Does this adding 2 add to that? Or is it a
It
net
would.
0? Or, well,
No.
if it's an add, then that's.
It would, so I would need to take a look and see exactly how much of Derek's remaining, the salary was part of Public Works, would be an increase. It would be something we'd have to include, obviously, in the budget for 2026. We could go at it with just, again, one of the options is just replacing that one position. I personally think it's going to be very difficult to find somebody with the skill set they need to just come into that position. There are water certifications, and we could train somebody, but we need, frankly, I think we need somebody with experience to be a utility superintendent, and I don't think we can compete with municipalities our size, what they're paying. It is a very difficult decision, and I don't have concrete financial, because I basically wanted to find out your thoughts, and then I can run with it and I can get more concrete data. But in the meantime, our department is running on 2 full-time people. So so if we hold a special meeting, if we, and you guys can tell me how you'd like me to proceed, and I can get more concrete data and numbers, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of budget ramifications here with headcount and whatnot, but you also don't want public works folks that are already running on fumes, taking their talents elsewhere either. So, and also the water superintendent, if we do go with like an MSA or somebody else, it's going to come at a cost. We need to know what that cost is. We need to know what.
And we need to have an understanding of, are they going to be here every day to do the testing every day? Are they going to, when there's a water main break, what is that going to cost us? Is that included in the cost, or is that always going to be an extra charge anytime they have to come down here? So,
And we need to see.
so I mean, there's some big questions if we're going to outsource that, what that means, and
Absolutely.
and no offense, but I think it's unrealistic for you guys to. This is the first we're hearing about it, and for you guys to expect us to make a decision tonight's meeting.
I didn't expect a decision per se to happen. I just wanted direction from the board is what I was looking for. I know Cody's in a different spot because of just basically having to work 7 days a week for quite some time. They have pre-scheduled vacation time and things like that, and so it'll all fall to Cody. But I was just looking for direction. What I can tell you from my experience is that there's several different companies, and usually they have different packages they'll offer when it comes to doing the utility superintendent job. I'm familiar with some municipalities that 100% outsource it to a different, another company. They handle everything, but then there's different packages, and that is something that I can take to water sewer to have us look into it. But I wanted the board's direction. Is that something we want to go down? And if you're not comfortable with answering that until you have more concrete answers, and then how many companies do you want me to reach out to? Are we okay with just reaching out to MSA since they know our water system better than us?
We have to have.
Yep.
If we're going to outsource, if we're going to do something that big and
Yes.
outsource, we can't go to just one resource. We would have. It would be like,
No, our
doing an
eggs in one
RFP for an
basket.
auditor and only going to one auditing firm,
So
right?
what I
It's the
can
same-
tell
it'd be
you
the
on
same
that,
thing.
and absolutely, what I can tell you on that, per our ordinance, we do have RFP for professional services, but that is not a state guideline. So for RFP.
No, we don't have to do an RFP,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying, this is a
Oh.
big thing.
Oh, like at least get 3 different,
We need to at least compare 2.
okay, gotcha, absolutely.
And then compare that to what it would cost to hire.
A utility superintendent.
Correct.
Right.
And then you also have to keep it in place, and maybe I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but is there going to be a qualified individual that's willing to do that in whatever our pay range is determined to be? That's just a concern of mine.
But, yeah. But I don't think the village board has a say over that water and sewer stuff.
Gotcha,
I think that's the water and sewer board.
okay.
So,
Is there any money available for these employees?
There is money. It is what's budgeted, what's left for the remainder of the year. It's definitely not going to be enough to cover all of the asks.
Could we get a labor position going?
That's what I was going to say,
That's what I
one
mean,
person.
It sounds like that
at
they have
least.
some need, right? And I understand other concerns, but I mean, unless you're asking for a salary higher than who was just hired, then I don't know. But
Yeah, we need to get something moving on the laborer position.
I'm just trying to help
But
at
then
least
you're-
get something.
then potentially you're adding a head count.
No, isn't there a vacancy
We're
available
Replacing.
because
replacing a vacancy.
replacing someone?
Right.
Well, but I might need that for water and sewer.
That's,
And he has to be the water and sewer. We need a water and sewer superintendent. That was the primary job that was vacated.
got it, okay,
Understood.
that makes sense, okay.
And I mean, if we decide adding a head count is the right decision,
I don't have enough information to look at that.
Agree.
What I can ask, what information would you like me to gather to bring to the next board meeting? Or there's water sewer next week, I can take what I find for the utility superintendent. It's hard because it is separate, but it affects the whole village, even though that is a separate entity of just our structure.
We need to know what it's going to cost, or water and sewer needs to know what it's going to cost if they contract it out. What 3 proposals are from
Yeah.
3 reputable companies. And then it'll be up to water and sewer to figure out what that pay raise is going to, or pay range is going to be. If
and
it's going to be what
And
it
the
was
budget
with their.
impact to each budget, there's the water and sewer percentage and then the village.
and then I think we need, because once we know who, if we choose to outsource it, what they do, making a decision as to how many public works positions are going to also be part village positions and part water and sewer positions. Or are we going to eliminate the part water and sewer positions and just make them all village positions? You know what I mean? So that's a decision that's going to need to be made as well, because I wouldn't think if we're outsourcing, whoever that water superintendent is, I couldn't see us having them do village work.
Yeah, they're not going to be
No.
on a rotation or
Correct.
anything like that, so.
So
Makes sense.
if then how much of the village employees are going to be needed to cover anything on water and sewer that superintendent position wouldn't be covering?
Gotcha. I can work on getting all of that for next Tuesday. No, that's not next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday is
It is
water and
next
sewer.
Tuesday. Okay, yep.
I'd like to say too that this wasn't intended to be an ambush. The resignation of the utility superintendent was abrupt, and there was no opportunity or chance for a smooth transition. So it's been all I can do to keep the ship afloat and get those position descriptions as well.
We appreciate,
Yeah.
yep,
Yes,
understood.
thank you for that
We
extra work
understand.
you're doing, Cody.
It was not intended to just be like, hey, make a decision
Okay.
now. It really feels like that over in the Department of Public Works at the moment, it is pretty difficult to.
Can,
What's
the two part-time people that are doing some work, can they help with some of the public works stuff that's going on?
So Lee works a second job and he has mandatory Saturdays in Fitchburg.
But
He
what
would-
about the other two? Don't we have two other people that we,
We just really have one, Scott Larson.
We have
Oh, Scott.
one, and he is not familiar whatsoever with any sort of municipal water testing.
And he doesn't have the certifications or anything, so I don't think he would be able
no,
to.
no, I mean, can he help out on the public works side of things with other things you guys, public works,
Oh, he
to
is.
free up you and or Jay to do the water stuff?
Oh,
That's what I'm
Scott,
talking about.
Scott Larson is. He keeps everything mowed very well. He's taken a lot of pressure off of us already. We're able to go do. I can't. I think it was 2 months ago was the last time I mowed, which is really awesome on him.
Mhm.
So he is already taking off a lot of pressure.
Okay,
But where the pressure is with you is the rotation.
There's a lot of pressure on the rotation. It's very easy to manage when it's once a month, when there's 4 people in the rotation. 3 is difficult, 2 is not sustainable, and then on top of it, snow removal is much easier when you have 4, 3 out on the street and on the streets and 1 hitting sidewalks, and then there's a few 4-man jobs. But also not having a utility superintendent, I've already had to tell a few customers that purchase bulk water from us that I simply just can't take the time out of my day to go turn a hydrant on for them. I've had to turn them away, and then also I've had today and yesterday, I was unable to locate a water shutoff and the power lines that feed our lights on Main Street for Intercon that's doing the sidewalk work or the gas main work on Main Street. So I've been able to get the tests in. I've been able to get the electronic monthly reporting in, which keeps us in compliance, which, to be honest, is the most important thing, is to be in compliance with the DNR. But there's other smaller things that, like utility location services and bulk water sales, that I simply just don't have the time to do, or the time to teach myself how to do it. And I know there's going to be more of that coming up, where I just have to tell people I can't.
We got to get the information to us as soon as we can, so.
All right. I will work on the utility superintendent outsourcing information, because it basically will be that compared to whatever the water sewer committee would want to compare it to, and I'll also find out what the remaining wages for the previous employee for the rest of the year, what we have available for that, with wages and fringe as well. And then, but for public works itself, so we're just put holds until the next board meeting? Is that what we're going to?
I think we need to at least put something out there for another.
how can we, Chris, if we don't know what the position is?
Yeah, because it's mixed.
Yeah.
We have to unmix the situation, too.
Yeah, we might have to ask you to just hold on for another couple weeks.
Well, before we post something, and
Yeah.
it'll be 2 more weeks after that before we get people in, and then it'll be, so really, we're looking for another 6 weeks.
Is there an opportunity to see if there's another LTE to get some hands out temporarily? You know of anybody that's interested in that type? I don't know. Last time we had some people that showed some interest in that.
I think mainly it's the at the moment it's the on-call,
Okay.
and then immediately following behind that is I'm barely able to catch up with the DNR mandatory tests and monthly reporting.
Okay.
So it would need to be someone pretty specialized and also availability for a week at a time to be on call. It's a hard position.
No,
It's a hard
I'm
ask, I realize.
trying to come up with ideas, maybe a short-term position for paperwork. I don't know. It's hard to, because there were so many people kind of trying to do multiple things.
Mm-hmm. I don't mind which way it goes. If we want to stick with the utility superintendent in-house, fully in-house, or if it's fully outsourced, some mix, that's fine. I just need help with the on-call rotation. I need enough people, competent individuals, for on-call rotation, snow removal, snow and ice removal is really the main pinch points.
Okay.
So if we discuss this at Water and Sewer next week, and then next village board meeting in 2 weeks, maybe at that point,
We'll be
we
ready
can
to
post something,
make a
a decision, and then hopefully, I would think that should be our goal.
That would be extremely helpful.
Okay.
And I guess if anyone's watching this, I would just say be patient. I mean, they're doing brush and compost pickup. I've had some calls because we have it, and maybe I need to make an update to the website, but we have it that it's the second Tuesday of the month. Just with how short-staffed we are, and they're being interrupted because it's basically just Jay and Cody. That it could take up to 3 days for that to get done. And so just to please be very patient, and we're doing the best. And the phones and emails have also been blowing up with the letters that went out last week. With just questions and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, the financial impact is what we have to really look at, so. Anything else, Corey, or Cody, excuse me?
If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving on to 8B, Town of Oakland CSM extraterritorial approval.
So this is just because our plan commission meeting was postponed until the 25th. I brought it here first because it is time sensitive. But the town of Oakland is updating their CSM, which is included. And because of our proximity, they need the village of Cambridge to sign off on it. It has already been approved by the town board. And so that is about it. Are there any questions regarding this?
Nope.
I don't have any concerns.
Looks pretty cut and dry. They've already stamped it, so. So I'll take a motion for approval.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the extraterritorial map presented by Oakland.
All right, trustee Brunig seconds.
That was trustee Hollenbeck on the motion.
And then any questions or concerns on this? And let's sign off. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, it has been approved. All right, moving on to C, 8C, add clerk Yessie to bank accounts.
Yes, so now that we have our clerk, I'd like to have her on the signature cards at the banks. And as you know, they want it part of the minutes in order to get that added. And so that is why I added that.
Okay. I will make a motion, trustee Brunig will make a motion to add clerk Yessie Arce to the bank accounts.
Trustee Schultz will second.
All right. Anything to add? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let's add Yessie to the bank accounts. And the reason we had a revised village board agenda is 8D, Fire and EMS Commission third quarter invoice. There's some background on this, Lucy, I guess, with the timing and when it was sent, when we received it. He said, she said, but we received it, I want to say a day ago.
Monday.
Yeah.
Monday at 8:15 a.m.
All right.
That was yesterday.
Yes, it feels like a week
I
ago
know it
already.
does.
Sorry.
Mhm. So, do you want to give us a synopsis of
Yes.
what the invoice is?
So what really confused me, not to mention that I did not receive it, and I checked every junk and all the things, and it wasn't in mine or Lisa's inbox. Regardless, they had stated that it was sent on July 30th, and if you look, payment is due, was due August 1st of 2025. And I thought that was very interesting. And the invoice sheet that I have here, it was on the actual email. It said in the body, it was due August 1st. That's 48 hours turnaround time. For a $147,000 bill, I was quite shocked by that.
Why is Sheila Palinkas
That was my next question.
listed on it?
I don't know. And this came from the CPA. And I went and looked the second quarter invoice, just to let you know, that came from the gal that's out of state. And because I was searching under her email to see if I missed something. This came from the CPA. This looks totally different also than what we're used to. This is with QuickBooks. I don't know why Sheila Palinkas' email address is on there. And I don't know why they said due August 1st, because per our previous invoices, we always had, 60 days from when we would receive it?
We
So
do.
is that correct? How
Yeah.
We still do.
Yep.
We still do.
Yeah.
Okay,
They can say it's
They
due
can
on
say-
receipt,
It's in the
but
It's in the
but
intergovernmental.
in our
agreement.
IGA, we have 60 days to pay.
so even if we go off of that 7/30 date that it's dated, we do have time on this.
So I would like to make a motion to postpone this for a future agenda item.
I'll second that. Trustee Krecklow. I think they should put it on the fire and EMS meeting agenda. Are they changing the way they're sending bills out or invoices, or what's going on?
Well, I think that Sheila situation might be because it might be an administrative error because Sheila was the treasurer of the Fire and EMS Commission, so they might not have just taken her email off or whatever the case is.
Okay.
So I would venture that's maybe where that situation came from.
But yeah, the bigger reason why I wanted to table this is, postpone this, is because we have already used up all of our budgeted money for fire and EMS.
Yes.
So we have to have a conversation about how the Village of Cambridge is going to pay for these dollars, because I can pretty much guarantee you, we do not have $148,000
No.
available that isn't already earmarked in the village budget for other things.
That is correct. And now that the audit was just finalized late this afternoon, Ellers was waiting for that. They did not want the
Oh, great.
They didn't want the drafts.
Yeah.
They didn't want to look at it until they had the final. So I will get that either tonight or first thing in the morning to them so they can get working on their process of assisting us.
Okay,
Good.
great, which is what we voted on in the last
Yes.
board meeting. Okay, super.
'Cause I believe we're already in the negative $67,000 with fire and EMS. So, all right. So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions, concerns on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're going to postpone this until a future agenda. And just to be clear, after the 60 days, I think per the IGA, it states that's when they can start charging the interest,
Correct.
which is a killer. Going on to old business, 15.60 floodplain regulation ordinance. You saw as part of the packet, it's quite extensive. Talking with Lucy before the meeting, she wanted to kind of, also push this out possibly till next board meeting.
Next board meeting, as you can see in the email portion in the beginning, it has like some, my contact Kristen from the DNR has some questions of how do we want to proceed. And she very nicely highlighted all of the things as well as you go through. I wanted to give you guys time to review that and then have us go through it because we'd be here all night to go through it from scratch.
Yeah. There's
I-
two
I-
big
So
ticket items on there that we need to make a decision about, though.
Okay.
Go ahead, Paula.
I'll wait till he makes his motion, then I'll make
No,
my
I just
comment.
wanted to point out that for everybody, they color coded where the changes, and there's certain areas of like just taking out whole areas. So it's a quite a bit to kind of review. So, but go ahead.
So my only question was, if we implement this floodplain ordinance, because the big deciding factor for me as to whether we use that higher grade of is anybody who's currently in the floodplain, are they grandfathered in or do they have to come up to current ordinances?
I believe they're grandfathered in, but I can reach out to Kristen.
Yes, can
Because
you?
we couldn't, just like when building codes change.
Right.
You're grandfathered, then if you make a change or build, then you have to be up to the ordinance.
Okay, great. So if we could verify
But I
that.
will verify
And
that.
then, do we know which properties are in a floodplain? So who would be affected by this floodplain ordinance?
We do.
Okay.
Because we have that all from MSA.
Okay, so if we could get that information as well, I think that would be helpful for when we discuss this next.
Absolutely.
Because understanding, particularly, I mean, because if we go with those higher, then those people in the floodplain have an opportunity for something regarding with insurance stuff. But we'd want to know how many people might be affected by, that particular item. I think that would be helpful.
I can reach out with that and
Okay.
and I will try to send, if I get information yet this week, I'll just send you guys that, I'll pass that along to help when you're reviewing.
That'd be great.
Yeah, there's quite extensive. Anything else on this?
Do we have to make a decision on, or is that part of
It's
the?
just the update.
Okay, for that applying for the community rating system part of it.
That's why I wanted to know how many people might be affected by it and whether or not they're grandfathered in or not.
Yep.
Because if they're not grandfathered in, I don't see how we could do that to people. Because it's kind of a significant change.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So that's where my two questions came from, Brian.
And just looking at it, I just wasn't sure if there's a lot of paperwork to be in that, or is there's a lot of other stuff in there that's required for that, being involved in that. It just says time, but I don't know how much time, you know what I mean? Like we're struggling with staff, you know what I mean?
Yep,
So,
nope, and I can reach out with
just
her-
nice
her-
to know if it's a lot of work or not, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
All right. So no action on that one other than moving it to the next board meeting. Welcome to Cambridge Signs. I had asked to have this on the agenda just to kind of get an update and see where we're at.
Absolutely, I'm gonna let Cody take the lead on this one.
The Welcome to Cambridge signs are currently sitting in Bank First Bank, the survey and legal description has been completed by Combs Survey. There was a little bit of confusion on who was writing the actual easement agreement. I contacted Combs today. They said that it was not part of their agreement for them to write the actual legal document for the easement. So we're gonna kick that over to Jane. And I have contacted the sign company. They are aware that we would like to put the signs in as soon as possible. I gave them a September, October timeframe. And we also got correspondence from Jane that we don't need to wait to start filling out the permits. So I can begin filling out the permits for DOT, which really is probably gonna be the longest hang up outside of getting to this point.
Biggest lead time, okay,
Good.
great.
Yeah.
So, and there was, our lovely Jane was out of the country for the last week and a half. So that's why it was a little bit of a pause, and I thought that she was going to write up the agreement, and then she came back, she's back now, and she thought Combs was going to, and she said that she would be willing to do that, but she had thought, again, it was just, but I will let her know that we'd like her to do that so that we can get that property owner, that document signed by him, and then Cody will get started with the DOT permits. And it's all staked out.
It is, yes, yes.
Feel like we're in the last
I
5K
feel
of a
like-
marathon. here.
I haven't even been here for the whole thing, and this is just
Yeah.
Oh.
quite the ordeal.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
This should not be this complicated.
No, it shouldn't.
Yep, so. All right, any questions for Cody on the Cambridge signs?
Thank you, Cody.
Yeah, no
And
problem.
you're going to get started on permits then right away?
Yes,
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
as soon as we're done with brush and compost pickup.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
9C, 8.16 fireworks ordinance. I was just talking to Brian before the meeting started, and I'm like, there's nothing in this ordinance that we are compliant with,
Or enforce.
or
maybe.
that we enforce, or anything. I know for a fact that the folks that sell fireworks at Piggly Wiggly, they don't come in and get any kind of permit or anything like that. I know we don't have any fees or anything. I know we have lots of complaints. And then the people that complain, they go and look at our ordinance and they say, well, why aren't you following your ordinance? And I also echo what you said earlier, Paula, earlier meeting, of it shouldn't just be the village president that gives out permits or whatever. It should be the administrator. So this ordinance needs,
Work. What
Yeah.
prompted it is 4th of July week, I got several phone calls from residents asking, where do I get a permit? How much is it? And I went to our ordinances and I read it and I'm like, I have no idea. And because then it's talking, it doesn't say like just a single homeowner, but if you have a whole neighborhood,
yeah.
I was just very confused. And
So-
according to the rest of the staff, nobody's ever done a firework permit, and I just want a clarification.
So do we change the ordinance to just say no fireworks allowed in the Village of Cambridge proper?
I don't know if I want to make that comment. But
I mean-
When you said we get a lot of complaints, what's a lot?
It's usually noise
Noise.
complaints, dozen. More
I
than
don't
that
think,
sometimes.
I don't think for a dozen complaints, this is, in my opinion, worth our time. There's a lot bigger fish to fry.
But in my opinion, we shouldn't leave it on the books as is if we aren't going to enforce it.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
well, that
And it could be a revenue stream
Yeah,
as well,
could be a revenue stream if we
For
actually ask people for
permitting.
permits.
right? So-
I'd be okay with having a simplified one that at least says you need to get a seller's permit in order to set up something like that. But there is so much stuff in here about, you need a permit to use fireworks. Is anybody gonna go and do that? You need the village president needs to sign for a bond for
can't support it.
liability for
And,
this. Does
and
that, you
what
know?
that's intended, I think the intent of that is if it's more of a, like what they do over the lake.
Sure.
If it's more of that type of fireworks. So I think, yes, we need to permit, but I'm not comfortable just saying anybody can let off fireworks anywhere in the village. I'm not. I think houses are too close together. People are irresponsible. They're going to have fireworks that are way too big. We're going to end up with house fires. And because we are in town and houses are a lot closer together and we have thousands of trees in this village,
So many trees.
way too many trees, all of that is a concern if we just say we're going to let people do fireworks whenever they want.
Okay, look, I have a suggestion, and I apologize, I haven't even delved into looking at other municipalities. But I know there are many other municipalities that have just kind of a blanket ordinance where any fireworks that leave the ground are illegal. So
Right.
you can do fountains, you can do those snappets, you
Sparklers.
can do the snakes and those types of things, but you can't do like the bottle rockets or anything bigger.
That's actually in here.
That is in here.
Yep.
And they still,
They talk about it not leaving the ground. There was a section in there that talks about that.
I don't think we necessarily need to require a permit for fireworks that don't leave the ground.
I agree.
Do
And
we?
who's going to enforce? Who's going to, I mean, are we going to have neighbors calling and tattling on neighbors if they
That's what's happening
live?
now.
I mean,
Yeah.
but so who's going to enforce that? Like, we're going to go hand out,
But you can't enforce, if
Fines.
you don't have a policy, there's nothing that you,
but I'm saying if
enforce.
we do make a policy, who's going to Who's
That's
gonna
what our-
enforce that?
That's what our law enforcement is for. And then, so we have to spell out, first of all, here's
Specifics.
what the rule is, and then here's what's going to happen if you break the rule.
I think we have a lot bigger problems like our budget to waste time on this.
I don't think this is a waste of time, though, Sarah.
I don't think so either.
Just saying my
But what
opinion.
about the time? Is there a deadline? Can you go past 10 o'clock or?
Yeah, that's a noise ordinance
Yeah, that would,
situation
the
then.
noise ordinance would cover that. Yeah, I think I don't know if that's 10 or 11. I don't remember.
So at least this is the current ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
It is restrictive. We're just not enforcing this. If we're going to change the ordinance, does that mean we're going to change our enforcement of it? Or are we just rewriting this and not enforcing that? You know what I mean? Like,
No, I agree.
because this looks like it is a really restrictive policy for,
What we do this, Lucy, how about we take a look at some neighboring municipalities, see what they have on the books.
Yes.
I hate to say plagiarize, but, take a look
Use
at
our
what they have.
resources.
Utilize the resources, see what's out there. If maybe it's something that's not as restrictive. I do like the idea of folks, if they want to sell fireworks that leave the ground, they need to come in and get a permit. Because
I
because
okay
we
with
make,
that.
we make people come in and get a permit if they want to sell door to door.
Yep.
And if they don't have a permit from the village, we say, hey,
They get a-
appreciate you selling door to door, but you need to go to the village first. And so we have a process in place. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, but if you're going to sell at Piggly Wiggly or you're going to sell wherever, they need to come in and get a permit. And at the very least. So, and if there's a fee attached to that, we'll make that part of our fee schedule.
Absolutely. And I do know that for enforcement purposes, not to, kind of a caveat, most municipalities that have a full, obviously we have Dane County, but have a more robust, like a full police department, are more laxed on the specific 4th of July. It is a week or two later that you're going to have, they're going to be responding. If it's actual the holiday, maybe it's just they can't keep up, but it's more lax just because that's the date that everybody does. It doesn't mean it's right. But it would be important.
We gotta, that's part of our job here is we gotta look at these ordinances and we gotta see if they make sense and if they work, whether it's on your level of importance or not. It's important because we have to give guidance to not only our police force, but our administration,
Like
our office
when I
folks.
can't, when I don't know how to answer, and where is this permit? And
Hmm.
I'm learning, and I was not sure how to handle those phone calls, and just to have clear directions.
Yeah.
What I'll do for the next meeting is I will find some other simpler that cover all the important things and bring them to share,
Right,
and then we
appreciate
can kind
that.
of go from there.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. All right, moving on to 10, correspondence. Email from Matt Dozios.
Yes, I'm not sure how to properly pronounce it, but Matt had given me a call. He does watch the meetings. I've never met him in person, so I don't think he's here, but he had a bunch of questions that I answered, and then basically he is interested in getting involved with committees, and that is basically what this email states. He's got a background in engineering and construction, and he would like to get involved if there's any need on
Okay.
any of the committees. And
Yep. Maybe we can ask Ted if he doesn't have to stay till the end of the year if he doesn't want to.
Mhm. Yeah, we have,
Water and Sewer is going to have a position open up
mhm.
at
Yes.
least at the end of the year, maybe prior to that.
Mhm.
So that might be something we'd want to reach out to Matt and see if he'd be interested in.
I know like the historical committee has an opening as well. And there's a couple other out there that have openings. So we definitely love our volunteers, so.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's great.
well, would you like me to reply and see if he's interested in water sewer? I think it'd be a good to try to onboard him before.
Well, see if he'd be interested
Yeah.
in it, yeah. And then, we can start inviting him to meetings, and then I can have someone can have a conversation with Ted to see,
Mhm. 'Cause I know
because I know Matt Hewson is now taking over for Ted on COWC.
Yes.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Did
what-
Matt take somebody's position on the board, on the water sewer committee?
Larry's
Gunzer.
term ended, and he
gotcha.
chose not to renew his term.
Okay, perfect. Okay. That's it for that.
Okay. Number 11, this is our second public comment. If anybody would like to make a public comment, come on up, state your name, address, and got 3 minutes. What's going on, Bill?
Thanks, Chris. My name's Bill Christ. I think I know many of you. 312 Oriole Lane, Cambridge. Question and a comment. The question is, when are you going to start doing treasury reports where you're comparing actuals versus budget? It's been over a year, I think. That was one of Paula's and Chris's and Christine's major critiques of the Fire and Police Commission. They weren't doing that. Where's yours? As you know, the village spent $1.1 million of cash reserves over the last 5 years. Never got an explanation. Where'd the $1 million go? I'd take a look when you get the audit report. You're going to find every fund in the village, every major fund, I think, is in a negative position. So you spent more money than you brought in. You hired a consultant, which wasn't budgeted, to tell you how much money to borrow to fix all your evils last meeting. Doesn't fix how you're going to go forward. Doesn't fix the problem that you overspend for 5 years. Nothing's been done to figure out how you're going to control your finances so you don't continue to spend money you don't have. When are you going to do it? Get your act together.
All right. Thank you. Do we have anybody else that wants to make a public comment? All right. Doesn't look like it is. So we're going to go on number 12, questions, referrals to staff or future agenda items. Anything for Lucy and staff?
I would agree with what Bill just said. We need to get on that. I've been on the board a few months. I haven't seen a budget for this year. I've seen nothing. I saw last year, but I have no idea where things stand right now. I made it very clear that that was one of the main reasons I wanted to be on the board, and I have nothing. I can't guess. We need to figure that out.
Hey, Lucy, now that the audit is done,
Yes.
Can we use Workhorse? Because I know Workhorse used to be able to
Yes.
print out for us a budget actual versus. Can we
Yes.
get that? And previously, we got it once a month. And I think it was the second meeting of the month.
I can
When we
absolutely
were
do
getting
that.
those?
And a little further explanation is regarding, I was not comfortable doing budget actuals until the 2024 audit was completed because I want to say at least 100 journal entries to put in for corrections on 2024, which will affect the cash balances for 2025 on the accounts that roll over. And I didn't want to give that and then have all of the updates, and then it would be very confusing. So now that the audit was just finalized, I believe Eric sent me all of the journal entries that I need to do in Workhorse. I will get those updated, and I can absolutely do
Great.
budget actuals.
Great.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any other future agenda items?
So we're going to we'll have the DNR,
Mm-hmm.
or the flood ordinance. We'll look at the fireworks again. Hopefully we'll have some direction on public works or utility superintendent.
Fire and EMS Commission, third quarter invoice.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if anything comes out of the plan commission meeting for recommendations.
We
make
are
sure
going to
that-
for sure have some 1 to 2 for sure things that should be coming through for plan commission, I expect.
Lucy, on the Fire and EMS Commission for third quarter invoice.
Yeah.
It may make sense, maybe not that not being on maybe the next meeting, but the following meeting, because really we need to understand where and how
Gotcha.
we may borrow money
Okay.
because that's going to be required in order for us to pay that invoice.
So the
So I
first
think-
September meeting.
So I think that would go whenever we get information from Ehlers.
Got it.
Okay, anything else?
Did we have, we'd gotten that consulting firm to do the report on fire and EMS, right, out of the grant funds, correct?
We had an initial meeting with them.
Okay, that's what I was saying. I just didn't know, like, is there another, remember they talked about there was gonna be some sort of workshop, and I just never
Yes.
heard anything after, what any dates on any of
And
that.
I can check in with them as well. Jay and Chris, help me out. Jay and what's the gal's name? I'm blanking. I can reach out to them. They did have Kristen, Chris, and myself had a kickoff meeting
Okay,
and gave them direction on where to start, but they're getting feedback.
okay.
Yeah, they're doing the interviewing with fire chief and the interim EMS director and kind of who's who in the zoo kind of thing. So.
Okay. Does they have a kind of at least time when we're gonna kind of finish that up? Was that kind of fall timeline? Or is it gonna fall?
It's going to take a little bit of time, and also I know they wanted to get it finished up before the next round of grants are coming
Yes.
out because they
Okay.
wanted to submit for the follow-on grant.
Yes,
Okay.
so that's the planning grant, and then there's a bigger innovation grant that you use your planning grant data for.
Yep. Just wanted to see, it sounded like there was progress or anything. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, if there's not anything more, number 13, upcoming meetings. So we got August 19th, Water and Sewer Committee meeting, August 20th, Library Board Budget Committee and Library Board. August 20,
Budget.
yeah,
There's a budget one.
Library Board Budget Committee, and Library Board. August 21st, Fire and EMS Commission, August 25th, Plan Commission, that was rescheduled. August 26th, Economic Development Committee, and August 26th, Village Board. Anything else in there?
The only thing that may be added at the end, the last week of August or the first week of September would be a personnel.
Brian, when are we gonna have personnel meeting?
When called, oh, actually, we need to get one on the calendar,
Yes.
don't we? Let's get something sent out to
Yep,
everybody, because we
I
need
will.
to get the time synced up, but yes,
Yeah.
let's get one going.
What about a finance meeting?
We could do that as well.
To discuss what?
The budget?
Well, I mean, the reason we haven't had a finance meeting is because we've been bringing everything to this board. Instead of having just a finance committee meet on stuff, everything that can affect the budget has been brought to this board.
But we haven't seen
But-
numbers.
Because we haven't been able to get them yet from our treasurer.
But I mean, even the budget that, for this year, this calendar year.
Yeah, we have that budget.
But I haven't seen
published.
that.
Did you, it's public
I
record,
can
so
send it to
we
you.
can get it.
That would be very helpful.
It was just a matter of just asking staff for those things that you need, Sarah.
Please don't talk down to me.
I'm not. I was saying, just ask staff. If you ask staff for what you need.
Are you on audit and finance?
I am on audit
So
and finance.
I'm asking you, you're on audit and finance.
I don't control those documents, staff does.
But you look at the budget,
Staff controls the documents.
but you work on the budget, correct?
I work on the information I get from staff, Sarah.
Okay. We need to move forward with the budget because there's been no work on this since I've been on the board.
There, okay.
You're broke, Paula, and you've done nothing about it.
So the budget was in place. We haven't amended the budget. The budget was published at the end of 2024. That nothing has changed with the budget.
I think where a lot of this comes into play is the question of where we are now that we're in August,
Yes.
where we are actual. So the
Absolutely.
budget to actual will answer a lot of questions. I'm now the chair of Audit and Finance, and so if we need to have a meeting just to get in there and take a look at where we're at from budget to actual, we can do that.
That would be great.
So, but you know, I don't think there's anybody to blame, to point the finger at, or anything like that. It's just a matter of the board approved a budget at the end of 2024, and now there's just the questions that are out there of whether or not we, like I said, the fire and EMS, for instance, we're in the negative $67,000. So it would be nice to know where we are with Public Works, or where we are with
And
with
where
benefits.
did over $1 million go?
Yeah.
That's past stuff. I don't know that
But
we
it's
can
still
go.
affecting us.
I don't know that we can go back and look at that information. I mean, look at where did all that money go. Some of us weren't even on the board for those past 5 years. Most of us weren't on the board for those 5 years. So I don't know how going back and seeing where it went versus what are we doing going forward.
Right, so we need
And
to
that's
see
what we're
what
working
mistakes
on.
were made in the past so we don't continue to make them and continue to dig ourselves a deeper hole.
I think one of the biggest, the two big expenses in past, from just looking at it, from what I see, fire and EMS is a huge one.
Mhm.
And then the other one, there was a lot of money spent on
Legal
fighting
fees.
solar. Legal fees for fighting solar. I wasn't on the board at that time, so I wasn't part of any of those decisions. So I know those are two of the big things that I have seen just in what I've perused in the past as big spenders. And then, I'll be honest with you, the third thing is when we brought on a fourth full-time public works person. I'm not sure that the Village of Cambridge could afford that at the time that that person was hired. Which is why I'm concerned, and why I brought that up. I need to know what the budget impacts are before we add another head count. So,
I just don't feel like anything is being done to
Well, we
change
didn't-
what's happened. Nothing, nothing's happening.
we didn't hire a position. We
Today.
eliminated,
Today,
no, we eliminated a head count. We-
Right, but-
When Todd left, left, we never refilled his position. So we eliminated that fourth position in Public Works. That was one of the big things that we did. Other than that, I mean, we look at our big ticket items, you're not going to make up $100,000 by reducing costs for office supplies. These are big things that are going to have to be
Yeah.
so you don't see a
eliminated.
problem with the way things are going?
Oh, there's definitely, I see a problem with it. I see a problem with the fact that we're going to have to borrow to pay for fire and EMS services.
And Sarah, one of the things Ellers is going to do as well is they're going to work with the board and kind of give you the education of municipal government. We are not alone. Most municipalities are size because of the levy limits and all the restraints, but yet we have to provide all the services. Cannot balance a budget. It is very difficult. And so they're going to work and educate and teach. So when it comes time to vote on things, that you have an informed decision and you know the consequences of, yes, this is what happens if I vote yes, and this is what if I voted against it and prolong it or whatnot. So you're going to get a lot of that from them when they start doing their workshops with us to work on the 2026 budget, which will be very good because municipal government budgeting is very, very different from budgeting your home expenses.
Yep.
We do not have the revenue. We don't have incomes coming in. Tax payment, we get a sliver of that. So if you pay $10,000 in taxes, we get a very small percentage. The school district, Madison Technical, all Dane County, then the village is left with, the portion, which for taxes, I'll use the pie chart. It's a great visual to show people because everyone assumes that my taxes are so high, the Village of Cambridge is, so these are all of the things. I can't speak for what happened in the past. All I can speak of is what's happening in the present and the future, and been working on rectifying things and whatnot. The budget for 2025 was not a realistic budget, so that
And
I have
that's
a
what
very,
I would
that
like
I have
to
a hard
see.
time with. They did the best. The treasurer was gone. Ellers pitched in. That is why we're setting ourselves up so much better for the future with having Ellers assist us, educating all of us so that we can make decisions. And if it may come that we have to cut services in order to, I mean, it's either, there's choices. If people aren't happy with their taxes now, and then we just start cutting, and we don't do compost and brush pickup, and it's just a drop off and by appointment and all these different things.
I think we need to take an extremely hard look at that stuff.
But what's important to you might not, we're answering for the whole village. So
Yep.
someone that is older that can't go drop off their things, that once a month pickup is extremely important to them. Again, so you're taking all of the services into mind.
Right.
So it is a very, very hard, thing to do, and you need to, at the end of the day, we need to make decisions based on, the best for the majority of the village. We're never going to make everybody happy. But like I've said before, I promise you we are not I'm not sure the word I want to use, but we are not, as for staff and our services and supplies, we are being very frugal and very mindful of every penny. But what we have to work with isn't realistic as well.
Yeah, I mean, we cut a body in Public Works, but the work didn't stop, you know.
And we've continued to grow.
Yeah, exactly. So, with that being said, anything else? You know what the upcoming meetings are. I'll take number 14.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll make a motion to second the adjourn.
All right. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.